Hello. Welcome back to the Wholesome Abi space. Today I wanted to hold a space for myself to share with you my experience with giving family daycare a go with our little boy River, who is just over 1. He's 14 months old now. So to give you a little bit of context to begin, I and Jeremy are living in Australia, here in a beautiful place called Lennox Head, if you know it. And our families are on the other side of the globe. So it's been a lot on the shoulders of myself and my husband Jeremy to single-handedly raise River. Jeremy works full-time, remotely, but is at cafes or the library or other focus spaces throughout the week. And the only bit of time I get to focus on projects or to even do some of my own work is in his nap times. And we had heard about this amazing family daycare, which for some of you that might not know what a family daycare is, essentially it's a childcare facility, but it operates from someone's home. And they could be running that business solo, or they could have a couple of support staff, facilitators or educators that are there. This particular family daycare is a 5-minute drive from where we are. It's a beautiful space in this woman's home. They have guinea pigs. There's a lovely outdoor shaded area where there's a big sand pit. There's a table with little chairs. She usually has around 10 to 12 children a day, but she has the support of 2 other facilitators. So there's 3 adults to around 10 or 12 little people. So I'd visited this place and I didn't really want to send River anywhere in anyone else's care until he was walking. There was just something in my mind where I wanted him to be on his feet and to be exploring before we place him in a social environment with other children or in the care of someone else. I don't know why that was the case, but it was. So we'd visited, I loved it. The communication with the lead facilitator was always really smooth, really heartfelt. You can tell she's a woman of integrity and loves what she does and gives the children she cares for her undivided attention and love, and she nurtures in the way that they are her own children, which was really important for me to feel settled with when I was leaving River in her care. So the Christmas period passes, and that was the time where we were exploring sending him to daycare just for 2 days a week, on a Tuesday and a Thursday to start with. And I was also open. My expectation was that perhaps he'd just spend the morning there, even if we pay the full day fee. Perhaps he just does a couple of hours in the morning and I can get on with a few things that I need to do in my own life. Sometimes that might be looking like going to the beach and having a solo swim and reading and recharging, as this mama needs a good recharge from time to time. So day 1 swings by. It's around the end of January and I pack up his lunch, I get everything ready for him. The woman who runs the space already had discussed with me River's specific needs. So I'd expressed that he currently is fed to sleep most of the time in the day naps, yet he is very much adapted to having naps in his pram. And if it was okay to have the pram there, that would be amazing. She was super open, received that and said, yeah, bring the pram along. And day 1 is there. I pop him down on the ground once we get there and he's already off on his feet exploring. He's such a explorer. And we'd also discussed with the facilitator the best way to do the moment of separation. And she said to start with, why not try the subtle approach where you kind of just remove yourself slowly and quietly from the situation and just disappear, essentially. So I did that and went home, felt very strange. For the first time, no River in the car. River's not with his dad. He's somewhere else and he's with other people that are not my family. So I had all that to move with. And then I said to Jeremy, we'll be in contact with this woman throughout the day via text. So if there's anything she needs or if we need to pick him up, we can be there within 5 minutes. And Jeremy was like, well, let's optimize this time. Let's go out for lunch and have a lunch together, just the two of us. And we did. I'd already received a few texts by that point saying River's happy, he's getting on with everything, and even that he had a nap there. He was asleep in his pram. I was so relieved about the sleep. And the day passes and it gets to about 2 p.m. I was ready to collect him before, but the woman said he was happy, still having a good time. So I leave it a little bit longer, and then at 2 p.m, 2:30, I receive a text that he's a little bit unhappy, a little bit sad and unsettled. I think he's ready to see his mom. So I drive by and pick him up, and he's had an amazing day. I can see it in him. He loved his time there. And bring him home, and he's just full of beans, energized from all this social play with other children. And I felt really confident. I felt super excited about this venture. Suddenly I have a little bit of sacred time for me. And for him to be happy and socialized and nurtured by others is a beautiful thing too. And then day 2 comes round on the Thursday, and I get there, maybe incorrect of me, I assume it's going to be the same thing. And then I feel these little hands and arms wrapping around my leg. And I'm aware that he is aware that I'm going to leave. And he doesn't want me to. And we get on with something there. I show him an activity of some kind. And the lead facilitator sits with me and we talk. And then when he's engaged with her, again, I gently sneak away. Day 2, I think she messaged us saying he was a little bit more unsettled, yet still he had his sleep. After his sleep, I got a text saying, yeah, he's a bit upset, he's looking for you. Do you think you'd want to come and collect him? And he was upset. I got there and he had the big kind of crying, recognizing that I wasn't around. So we sat with that a little bit, and we were committed to giving it a real go, even if it was a bit hard for us all. And then we carried on for another few weeks, just 2 days a week. Sometimes I'd pick him up after an hour. Sometimes I'd pick him up after his nap, after a couple of hours. But the same story ran through, which is he's not settling and he's looking for you essentially the whole time. He can't relax and he can't focus on tasks because he's got in his mind that my mum's not here and I can't rest and relax into play. And when it comes to week 4, getting to the end of the month of exploration with this, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of tension around the choice. And myself and the facilitator agree, okay, let's see how this week goes. And if not, we'll maybe pause and try again in 6 or 9 months when he's got a little bit more language. Maybe he's a bit more confident in himself. Maybe he has other experiences in between that will support him in that. And the first day of that week he goes, he seemed to settle into play a little bit more and we were happy with it. And then the second day, he was distressed and he started to notice me leaving. He would look at me the whole time. He wouldn't even be involved in anything when we first got there because he knew I was about to depart. And he would do this harrowing, you're abandoning me cry that would just crack my heart into 1,000 pieces. I'd end up coming home crying, nervous, anxious that I'm going to have to go and collect him, anxious that I'm doing the wrong thing. And so we made the call with the lead facilitator that we would pause things and save the strain and the emotional roller coaster for all of us. Because when River was distressed, I was feeling it, Jeremy was feeling it, the facilitator was feeling it, and all the other children that were present, it was rippling out into them, and sometimes it caught on and they'd start to miss their parents or caregivers. So we gave it a go, and thankfully my situation means I can still have this time with River. I'm not kind of forced back into work. Jeremy's work sustains us, and I also bring in my own income through coaching, yoga, meditation teaching, and creating beautiful pieces of artwork. So that work is quite fluid on my side, and I can make it work between his nap times, but it just means that I have to reframe the way I spend my solo time. And actually, since that whole experience, it's been different with River. I've appreciated our time more. I'm going to get emotional. I appreciate the smaller things with him now, and can see that this time is so finite when he's so small, and I am lucky enough to be able to have that time with him. So I've started to tune into a little bit of a higher frequency around our shared time, and not being so, not seeking as much my own time, but instead expanding and illuminating joy and fun and rest and relaxation in the time that I'm with River. So that was our journey. We're going to try again in a couple of months' time and see how we feel. I know that it's not everyone's circumstance where we have a choice. Sometimes you have to go through the heartbreak and the separation anxiety, all the while having to go to work and provide for your family. So I do appreciate that. But for us, it felt intuitively right that we would pause and bring him out of family daycare and continue to go to play groups with myself still being present, where he feels safe and nurtured through our bond. And I've actually started up a playgroup at my own place that happens once a week with a beautiful group of mums and little people, so that they too can gain that experience, because like me, their children aren't in family daycare or childcare or with a nanny, and we want them to have that social experience but still feel secure in their attachment to us. So there's just a little insight on our family daycare experience. If you have any questions, thoughts or comments, feel free to either drop a comment below or message me directly. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you again really soon.